Hi everybody, Dr. Zach here, and I wanted to get back in touch with everybody today to find out how things are going with the Gut Check Challenge. We're about 27 days into the 31-day challenge, and the results that people have been sharing with me have been fantastic. We've been getting across the board, everybody's been losing weight, which is great for those that need to lose weight. I have not lost weight because I've been able to find different ways to as I'm modifying my diet to make sure I'm getting plenty of food intake taking place because I can't afford to lose a whole lot of weight. But for those of you that have picked up maybe the COVID-19 or have been trying to lose some weight, we've heard across the board people losing weight, which is a great thing. Heard a report the other day from a gal who's had some chronic autoimmune disease issues going on, lots of inflammation in her body. She knew she was gluten sensitive and she would do really a lot better when she would eliminate gluten. So she would replace that with lots of fruits and vegetables. And as she's been eliminating the lectins from her diet, she says that she's feeling perfect, the best she's felt in years. And she's excited because she has some great recipes that she can be using going forward, and that she really has embraced this as a lifestyle change. So I hope that you have too. I want to hear your strategies for carrying this forward. I want to hear the things that you're noticing that have been great and the challenges that you've had through this time as well. I also know there's a handful of you that have joined me on my 30-day burpee challenge. And so for those of you that are doing that, let me know how that's going. I'm going to include in the email today the video that I shot the other day of my burpee medley. I did 10 different types of burpees so that you can learn how to mix things up and not get stuck in just the regular old, boring, painful, dreaded burpee, but how you can mix things up and keep things going that way. But let me know how that's going for you. I'm at day 17, and so I'm a little more than halfway, and I hope things are going good for those of you that are doing the burpee challenge as well. I did want to dive into another topic as well, and obviously we're still in this COVID season. We've got a lot of different talk going on about how are we going to get back to life again. And right now, the universal message is that when we get the vaccine, we'll be able to get back to life as usual. And first of all, we don't want to get back to life as usual. We want to be in a place of continual and never-ending improvement. So we're going from where we currently are to even a better place. But I do want to address the whole concept of vaccine and immunity, really from this, really more posing a question to you, giving you some things to consider as we are kind of being inched closer and closer and closer to this point where we're going to have to make a decision of, do we want to get the injection so that we can be legal, go back to school, go back to work, travel, all of that, or whether we're going to be a little hesitant in receiving that. So here's the question that I have for you, is that whenever there's any kind of an infectious disease that comes along, what is the ultimate desired outcome? What do we want? Really, I guess we want to get past it, but how do we get past an infectious disease? What is the key thing that has to happen for us to get past that? And from my perspective, it's immunity, right? If we all get immunity, then we don't have to worry about the disease anymore. And so immunity, I think, from my perspective, is the ultimate desired outcome. So with that, how do we acquire immunity? Well, we acquire immunity through exposure, right? And that's really the only way for our bodies to develop an immunity against some kind of an antigen or something that it's never been exposed to, that now it is exposed to, is through that exposure. So if we don't get exposed, we can't get the immunity. So if we take a look at the last 6 months of what's been going on since this pandemic has been declared a pandemic, is that our whole focus has been on really trying to avoid exposure, or if we have been exposed, to avoid exposing ourselves to others so that they don't get exposed. Which means that we're really trying not to develop immunity, so that we are trying not to get past COVID-19. But on the other hand, we know that there's great hope, right? We're putting all of our hope in all of this vaccine research that's been going on, and we've got 26 different companies. There's like 2 or 3 front runners that are coming out with the vaccine. I just saw that Russia has approved a vaccine that they're sending out already. So there's a race going on for a vaccine. And if you think about how the vaccine works by exposure. We're going to expose you to really an artificial or a synthetic version or a modified version of what we've been avoiding so that we can develop an immunity against that. And that's the goal of it. In the trials that I've seen so far from Moderna, they're showing that 80% of the people, by the time they're getting the second injection, which they're saying is going to take multiple ones, 80% of them are experiencing systemic side effects, which means their entire body is responding in adverse ways to this. 80%, that doesn't sound like a very good response number to me. With one of the other ones that is coming from AstraZeneca, I believe, that has been researched out of Oxford in the UK, and they said, hey, we're getting great success with this. We've done it with rhesus monkeys, and so these monkeys have been injected with this. And one of the big concerns with a vaccine is that because it does create a response in your body because you're getting injected with something that's foreign, it can actually trigger a hyperactive response when you actually come into exposure of that germ naturally. So what they found with these rhesus monkeys was that 100% of them that got the vaccine, when they were exposed to the natural coronavirus, died. That's a pretty severe response. So, and what's interesting is from the media, we're getting good reports on both of these, that they're making good progress and that we're putting our hopes in this. And here's a final question I have for you, is that in history of humanity, as we've been paying attention to life and what goes on and how well we do, there's a natural way that things happen. And then as humans, we tend to try to improve on that natural way and make it better. So we synthesize something, or we make an artificial version of something that's natural. And the advantage we have is that there's a whole lot more money to be made by coming up with a vaccine and exposing the masses of people to the virus that way versus just breathing and being exposed to the virus that way. But in our history, how well have we done at improving on nature's way? With synthetic foods, is that better than natural foods, right? Margarine, is that better than butter? Have we improved on things by synthesizing things, by tweaking things? That's the question I want to leave you with. Think about, the exposure. That's the way we get immunity. Think about the hiding out that we've been coached to do over the last 6 months so that we can avoid exposure, which means we're avoiding immunity. Maybe it's time to start looking at some of the models like South Dakota, where they haven't been shutting things down, haven't been avoiding things. Looking at Sweden, where they never shut things down, and they say that they've already achieved herd immunity, and that through August 16th, there was 1 COVID death in the entire country. Maybe we should be looking at things from a natural perspective. Food for thought. Let me know what you think. Till next time, this is Dr. Zach. God bless you all.